Hey guys, welcome back. As you know, Athearn, the model train company, has been producing SD70ACes like crazy in all sorts of different variants. They're really meeting the hobby's need for SD70ACes, and I don't see an abundance of them sitting around on shelves anywhere. They've made some improvements to their SD70ACe, including the most recent run, which includes PTC antenna arrays on top of the ACEs. So we're going to take a look at the PTC antenna array overall. We're not going to do a full review, but I'll let you know some of the differences I noted from previous runs. We'll take a look at some sounds again, just covering a few sounds, and wrap this update up of the Athearn SD70ACe starting right now. So since this isn't a full review, I am going right into the detail. So I've unboxed everything. Everything was present in the box if you care to know, except for the actual protectors that go in the handrails. Those weren't in there for some reason, but not a big deal. The PTC antenna array is really what we're focusing in on this locomotive, along with any improvements from a previous run. So the first run of locomotives, the SD70ACes from Athearn, I happen to have one here, and that is 8309. I don't know if it's the very first run, but it's one of the first runs. I think this is from that era when they had a couple speaker problems, like speaker enclosure problems, which I believe was the first run. So we'll take a look at some differences on the locomotive. Nothing's changed in terms of mold or detail on the locomotives. As you see, there is, oh, there goes that locomotive. As you see, there is a satellite antenna difference, but that's the new PTC antenna array. PTC obviously for positive train control, so they can control locomotives and see where they're at better, avoiding some of the accidents, increasing safety. So that's about the only change in the body details. I noticed a hint more of green in the Athearn SD70ACes, and now it's back to what appears to be the original yellow. So I don't know if that was just a shift in the color or what. Windows are still tinted, more like a frosted on the first run. This run has more of a tint to it, where there actually appeared to be a texture on the windows. Now not so much. Now it's actually appears to be an actual tint versus that frosty look on the first run. It's kind of hard to tell unless you're really nitpicking. So you've got the same separately applied grabs and things as before, but like I said, they improved the PTC, or improved the options by adding PTC antenna array. Now, one thing I'm going to put to bed right now, we've had a lot of talks about I think they improved weight, but let's actually prove it or disprove whether they've improved weight right now by bringing out the old scale here. So I'm going to make sure it's tared out to ounces, and I'm just going to go the old one, 17.7 ounces. Remember that number, 1 pound, 1.7 ounces, 0.501 kilograms, and 501 grams. I always want to put that out there for people in different countries that use the metric. And 17.5 ounces on this one. So is that actually less? Well, about the same. 17.5, 17.6, and got 17.6 on that one. 17.5. So actually the newer ones are 0.1 ounces lighter, probably just a mistake, but maybe it was all in my mind that I thought these were heavier than the previous runs. So I don't know again if this is the first run. I'm pretty sure it is, but the locomotive are the same weight, so that kind of debunks the myth that they might have added weight to it, or I might have a later locomotive than I thought. I'll put a note about whether this is from the first run once I check Athearn's website. But that's kind of the difference in from one of the earlier runs to the more recent runs, so it kind of debunks the myth that maybe they added weight to it. It doesn't look like weight was added, but the improvement or adding the PTC antenna array, I don't know if I'd call that an improvement or just an update, but it's nice to have that option on the SD70ACes. So that is about it. We're going to go ahead and fire up the layout so you can hear the sound. I know the sound is improved from the first run, because if you recall, the first run had some issues with speaker enclosure. Inside this locomotive, right around the center area, there's a speaker enclosure, and on the first run, they had a opening at the bottom which kind of leaked the sound out towards the bottom of the locomotive. Sound, in a lot of ways, is fluid, and it kind of projected that sound down towards the tracks instead of out towards the modeler. And then they sealed up that speaker enclosure. There's people doing their own for the first run. Athearn fixed that on the second and further runs to increase and improve the sound. Dynamic brakes are on. So the sound is rich. It's got a nice bass to it from that Tsunami decoder that is installed. And you know, one thing that we kind of overlook is prototypical accuracy. Still incandescents. Rumors are flying around Athearn may move to LEDs eventually. They are currently, though, correct on the prototypes. So if you have a Norfolk Southern engine, you've got flashing ditch lights. If you have a UP engine, you don't have flashing ditch lights. So that's always nice. And the Tsunami decoders are easy to change that, even if that's not the case. But I can tell you on this UP, the ditch lights don't flash when the horn is sounded, which is nice and prototypical. So with that said, I'm going to leave you guys with a run-by of the locomotive. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time right here on my channel. Take care.